alaikum. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Um, I hope to use the channel to discuss fake created issues. So I hope I do not get bored along the way. So I would appreciate if you can follow up on some of these issues. So I'm going to be using a contemporary text that I used by I think there's this online program at the Hilu and Fiqh. So it's the material used for Maliki Fiqh there. I think it's a very good summary of Maliki Fiqh. So I'll just put in a little bit of more flesh in English language. So basically, I hope it will be of benefit to people. It's basically for people to just have a basic understanding of fiqh and then to be able to handle issues as it applies to them in everyday life. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it a beneficial one for the content provider and those who are going to be using it. So if we want to go, if you are going to do this, I think the first thing I want to do with this video, which could be first in the series, is to define what fiqh is, right? To define what fiqh is. And then the next episodes, I'm going to be discussing on the the approach with which Imam Malik, the system that the tools that Imam Malik used in approaching the Quran and the Sunnah to derive fiqh rulings, right? So I'm going to be focusing on an explanation of the very popular Manzuma to Ibn Abi Ghuffa, so Ibn Abi Kaf, Ibn Abi Ghuffa. So I would take my time and explain the usul of Malik in this manzuma. So that's going to be the second uh, installment. Then subsequently, I start touching on the fiqh, starting from tahara, salah, and so on and so forth, up to the issues of qada and stuff related to qada. And I may decide not to start from tahara because I realize that issues surrounding talaq, khul, are things that a lot of people largely are ignorant of. So anyway, as I don't know what would ultimately be the case, but I pray to cover the whole extent of fiqh. May Allah make it easy. So what is fiqh? So what is fiqh? Ulama would define fiqh is you find in Jam'u Jawami' of Tajuddin Subki. Jam'u Jawami is a very popular summary of usul fiqh, which is very technical because Tajuddin Subki, Allah yarhamuhu, summarized a lot of books in those pages. Anyway, that's not what we'll talk about today. What we won't talk about today is just what is fiqh. And he defined fiqh like others also, al-ilmu بأحكام الشرعية العملية العلم بأحكام الشرعية بالأحكام الشرعية العملية المكتسب من أدلتها التفسيرية. So how does he define fiqh? Is that fiqh is the knowledge of the rules of the Sharia pertaining to actions, right? And then we acquire this knowledge from the detailed evidences of we get this we would derive these rules from the detailed evidences of the Quran as Sunnah. If it were an advanced class, then scholars would go into the detail of breaking down each word in that definition. What do you mean by ilm? How do you feel the yaqeen? How you feel the dhan? We are not going to do that here. So basically, I'll just make some comments that when we're saying that knowledge of al-ahkam al-shar'iyya al-amaliyya, basically, fiqh has to do with the rules of the Sharia. We are not talking about al-ahkam al-aqliyya. We're not talking about rational rules. We're talking about the rules of the Sharia. Al-amaliyya, we're basically talking about things that have to do with our actions, whether it's actions of the heart or actions of the body. How do you pray? How do you do nikah? How is your intention and stuff like that? Fiqh is not in the technical usage of the scholars of fiqh. It doesn't have anything to do with issues of creed, ittaqad, unless you're using fiqh ala yani بمعنى العام. So here, fiqh has to do with knowledge of the rules of Sharia governing human action. Al-Muqtasab min adillatiha at-tafsiriyah. That which we gain this knowledge from the detailed evidences of the Sharia. I don't know if the word detailed covered it properly here, because what we mean is that you have to cite specific evidences for your stances on fiqh. How do you do wudu? You cite the evidence where Allah says, إِذَا كُمْتُمْ إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ فَاغْسِلُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ وَأَيْدِيَكُمْ إِلَى الْمَرَافِقِ. Now, and then this is used to distinguish ilm al-fiqh from ilm usul al-fiqh. When it comes to ilm usul al-fiqh, you are dealing with broad rules, like al-amru yaqtadi al-wujub. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, emphatically commands us, instructs us to do something, this command would translate into that which is compulsory. So when I say al-amr yaqtadi al-wujub, هذا حكم أصولي والأدلتها إجمالية. So basically what we're going to be talking about here is fiqh, knowledge of the Sharia rules on human action. I like the definition of some of the scholars say الفقه إنما هو معرفة ما على النفس وما عليها وإن كان عام نوعا ما. So it's about knowing what you ought to do and what you ought not to do, governing human action right from birth till death, even after death, because we have to deal with issues of mirah, inheritance. And then even if I said I'm going to make it, it's going to be based on Malik effect. I'll try as much as possible to bring up the evidence for each position that we mentioned in the madhab, so that you understand that ulama do not just bring things out of their head. They depend on the evidences from Quran and Sunnah and some other related evidences. And that's why I'm going to start in the next installment of this video. I'll start by explaining Matn ibn Abi Rufa, where it details the evidences of Imam Malik. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve us today. إنه ولي ذلك القدر. السلام عليكم.